Josh questionable but didn't practice? Is it more like, are you leaning on not playing him?
I don't. I think if you made me guess right now, I think it's going to be doubtful that he plays. You know, we'll go through what we go through. He got whacked by Oladipo the other night, and you know he was a bit sore yesterday, and today we sat him, and you know we'll judge it more tonight. But I'd be surprised if I say anything differently than that tonight.
I guess against obviously a guy like Westbrook and Oklahoma City in general, a team that can generate a lot of free throw opportunities, and Jimmy Butler seems to be another guy that can do the same. What were some of the lessons immediately on the heels of that game that you wanted your team to take away?
I mean, the carryover is you've got, you know, some point guards that have some real talents. You know, Rondo doesn't have the breakaway speed that Westbrook has, but he's so gifted, you know, and probably we're going to, you know, be more conservative with our approach to him, a little bit like we were with Russell, just trying to get back. I think the isolation, the ability to score one-on-one like Russell has on a wing ISO, that Jimmy has on a wing ISO, is similar. You know, how we decide to game plan and scheme that is a question. I think the most common of the common denominators is the rebounding. Like, these guys are the second best offensive rebounding team in the NBA. And we were manhandled in Oklahoma City. And so, you know, those few things come to my mind on carryover, scout report type things for tonight's game.
Do you point things out on tape with the team of how physical they are? Maybe it's, you know, the Ibaka, Lopez stuff, or other past, even your past
all the time.
Yeah.
You know, all the time. We sort of pick up poison and try to, like, zoom in on those things that I just said. Like, when you try to find carryover to a game plan, you know, sometimes playing the night before or a few nights before that has some similar characteristics is helpful. This team runs a lot of, like, 1-3 pick and rolls where they'll give Rondo the ball and they'll bring Jimmy Butler up and have him be the screen setter. Normally big set pick and rolls, they're a little bit different. And it's going to be what we experience a few nights from now with Jeff Teague and Paul George, you know, like another 1-3 pick and roll. And so you're always trying to find common denominators that are most recent and fresh in their minds to improve upon and have fresh video clips to support that.
When going back to Ja, how much does the repetition and the lack of time off between games play into what you want to do with him?
As far as from a coaching standpoint?
Like the fact that you have like 800 games in the next 3 days coming up.
Right. And so interestingly, he's played 50 games this year, and he played 53 last year. I think just forget the physical side or what a doctor may tell you, just put a head coaching hat on. You know, anytime you can get a team or a player, and the players would say this louder than a coach, into a routine, a rhythm, there's a system, there's a rhythm beat to somebody's cadence. You know, it's not erratic. It's not just a rug pulled from them from time to time where they're not playing. You know, finding consistency from that standpoint is harder. You know, fortunately for us, you got Rashawn shown that he can come in and get some things done. I'm excited in an inverted way to give Sean Long another opportunity. And so we're lucky from that perspective to have our D-League team that helped facilitate an immediate call-up and somebody that knows us and we know him in Sean Long, and also somebody like Rashawn Holmes when these types of things happen with Jaleel and a coaching staff, like you can call upon two other young guys that you're confident in.
Right, the last two games, there's been a huge disparity in free throw shooting. Is that a matter of, you know, guys need to be more aggressive down low, or you guys need to draw fouls by going to the paint more?
I mean, you would think that. Like, there's always things that enter your mind on why it's tilted. You know, my instinct initially is you know, like you're taking too many jump shots, or, you know, you're not taking one more gather step and really trying to invite contact and what I call body ball, their body, your body, and protecting the ball, you know, really not not exposing it, trying to invite contact and one type stuff. Those few things come to my mind when you see such a tilted free throw discrepancy. It is stuff we're aware of, driving the ball, all those types of things we pay attention to. I think over the course of this season, we've been pretty good. When you don't have like a dominant post player that's going to go, get 10, 12 free throws like, say, Joel used to, or you don't have, James Harden or Russell, they're going to command like 10, 12 free throws. You're searching a little bit with the guys that really are high volume free throw shooters. But overall, those things come to my mind.
Tiago saw some game action with the Sevens. What did you see? What did you hear? The feedback?
I watched his clips and I spoke to him, communicated with him on text. For him, he's just excited to play basketball again. He hasn't played, I think, in 13 months? It's been a long time, and I got tremendous respect for his humility and sort of, doesn't take it like an insult. Goes down there and plays with his experience, Olympic Games, NBA champion, veteran, and he's just trying to find any forum to get his cardio up, to get his fitness back, to touch a ball, to compete, to feel somebody, have them feel him. And he just goes down there willingly. And so from that perspective, I think that's a mirror into who he is as a person. He wants to play basketball. He wants to fit in and be a part of us. I think that his fitness most stood out as the negative. I think the physicality that he does and what he does well, he's an elite screen setter. He's an elite roller. He's an elite passer. Those things, you see hints of that again. But the fact does remain is he hasn't played in 13 months.
I'm sure you've got a lot of things you could be doing, but do you pay attention to college basketball maybe a little bit more at this time of year?
Always.
And how do you watch the games? Through what type of
Like I'm
games?
going to coach one of them. You pay attention. And I think over the, going into now my 4th year, in my first year, because, I wasn't hired until the middle of August, you still paid attention on draft night. I think I'm sitting in the back of the San Antonio draft room, after the crushing loss to Miami, and they had rumored that I was going to be the coach early, and it was very, very premature. And, I had spoken with Sam Hinkie previously and just said, whatever you're going to do, let me be last. Let me be the last person you speak to. I know you're going to do your due diligence. And so I didn't realize that last was going to be August, but it ended up being that in June. And so you're paying attention to that, and you start seeing Drew Holiday be traded, and you see where that program's pointing, and then Nerlens and Michael Carter-Williams and so on. I missed that draft. The other few, here I am, and so you've learned over the years, because we've never in my Spurs life, paid much attention to the top of the draft. We weren't going to be in that position. So now you've learned over the years how to study it, pay attention a little bit better. You're curious, following predicted draft boards on where they think people will fall. And so that's a long-winded yes, for sure I do.
Is it hard to not take notice a little bit more in the tournament especially? I mean, I know it's a big body of work, but obviously
always.
Time when the stakes are higher.
Always. The rules change in the NCAA playoffs, just like they do in the NBA playoffs. And that stage, that limelight, that one and done sort of, death wish, how it's set up, there's pressure, with on a lot of 19, 18-year-old kids' shoulders. And for that reason, as much as anything, you for sure pay attention.
But how long is Tiago going to be down there for?
I don't really know. I don't know.
When you watch the tournament over the years, what skills stand out to you that you think, okay, that can transfer to the NBA that has proven to be true?
I mean, I'm always paying attention to shooters. It really does, on so many levels, make the world go round. And it especially does with the group that we're constructing. And so, that stands out to me a lot. Because I don't watch much college basketball, to get in there and think oh, he really competes, or he really is a great teammate. He seems to see the floor well. He looks like he plays good defense and moves his feet. You have all those types of guesses, but I'm very opinionated when it comes to shooting. I feel like if I see somebody shoot 3 or 4 times and just watch their form and their footwork, their preparation, you form a pretty quick opinion. Then takes you about a second to look at their stats, and it helps you validate what you think or contradict what you think. But shooters really are what's most on my mind.
Brett, I know you talk about Dario a lot, but what is the one thing that really surprised you about him this year that he's able to do?
Figure out the NBA quicker than I had thought. We all guessed his skill set was going to be, pretty good in a first year. We thought he was a pretty good shooter. He's a little bit better than I thought. We thought he was a pretty good passer. He's a lot better than I thought. We thought that, maybe as a B type of athlete, is he going to be ground bound? Is he going to be too slow? Nope. He moves just fine. You knew he was tough, but how does that translate on an NBA court? How's he going to deal with the rules? How is he going to deal with 82 games? How is he going to deal with the athletes? And it's just all of that put into a melting pot, and it extracts the answer of he's figured out the NBA game quicker than I thought he would.
And also, he just seems to be a man's man, too, in regards to durability, is one, and he's just, in addition to man's man, he's a great teammate. He just seems to be the guy they all like.
He, because they respect him, they see his work, and they see his toughness and his commitment, his passion, his desire to win. Then he's got a humility side. He's got a human side where he's a really good guy. He's fantastic to have in a locker room. Everybody gets a kick out of his broken English and how he phrases different things. And, when you can find somebody that competes at the level that he competes at and also has like a selfless side, a humility side, that's a hell of a package. And, he ticks a bunch of incredible boxes as it relates to forming a team, and cornerstones and culture pieces and corporate knowledge. He really has had a significant year. Look at our guys. So I look at all our guys. You go to the starting 5. You go to TJ's year that he's had. You go to Timmy Luwawu. He's improving. You go to Robert Covington, has been steady and improving so much with his defense. Look at Dario's done. Look at Rashawn's done. Gerald statistically said his best year. We're seeing Sean. It's hard to really find people say, oh, he's really had a tough year. Look at what Nick Stauskas is doing. All our guys, we're maxing out. We really are maxing out. Our guys are really clawing and scratching to get the most out of their, potential at this early stage of all the development. And when I say maxed out, I'm talking about just in this window of time, because we got more to offer. They got more to offer in the summer next year. But as for right now, they give their best, and for the most part, they perform to their best effort and, I think, abilities.
One last question about him. I guess this says a lot to him and is old. But when he made a promise to you and said, I will be over in 2 years, a lot of people thought, man, whatever. I was like, no one's going to give up that type of money. And the fact that he did it, what to you does that say to you, that a guy will give up money because of his word?
It speaks to the person. It speaks to those qualities that we just spoke about, why we all think he's a wonderful teammate. And it's like he said it to me every year. And it got to the stage, he would get mad at me. He would get a little upset at me. It's like, hey, coach, man, I told you I'm coming. It's like, Dario, we good? He goes, I don't know why you keep asking me for it. I told you once. And, you started understanding his pedigree and the human being inside the player. And he's a high character, really, really high character.